And you're probably wondering what the heck is that?
What are you working with? SCT, Brownell's ported slide.
That dot on the target, and as long as you don't move your pistol, you will shoot where that dot is.
I think I want to shoot the Kimba next.
Welcome back, everybody. It's Double Stack 1911 back at you. Sitting here with my Prodigy today. Prodigy DS Compact. As you can see, it's not loaded. Nothing in the chamber, pointing in a safe direction. And I wanted to talk about something that is very important to me. And I figure that a lot of people might have this question. And that is how to pick the proper range. You went out, you bought a pistol. You might have bought it from a gun range that also sells pistols, but what do you do, right? Like, do you continue going to that range? Do you not? Well, outside of some of the things like price and other things like that, one of the things I look for is, do they have a good selection of pistols to choose from, especially newer ones? If you decide that, hey, I might want to buy a gun a year or something like that, you really want to consider that. A lot of times, if you want to buy a gun online or something like that, or you want to have it shipped to the actual place where you go or the range where you go, there could be a lot of fees for that. It could be hundreds of dollars. It could be something cheap, $20, $30, $40. But that's one of the things you want to consider is, along with the cost, right? How can I have guns shipped here? And if I plan on buying a lot of guns, I probably want to consider, that range's ability to either do FFL transfers or, do they have a lot of selection for me to choose from and do they stay up to date? But that's not the real thing. The main thing that I consider when choosing a good range to go to is how attentive and by the book are their range safety officers. A lot of times you might think, oh, I don't want to be with range safety officers that are meticulous about everything. They have these rules about rapid fire. I want to be able to rapid fire sometimes. I want to be able to, do all types of things. So you might originally look for, where is it most lenient? However, in my opinion, that would be a huge mistake. You're thinking about that from your perspective, but you're not really thinking about it from the right perspective. The right perspective is, where will I be safe, right? Chances are, if you're learning about firearms and firearm safety, you're safe with you, but you want to be somewhere where the range safety officer is taking your safety in consideration with regards to everybody in the range. I was at the range last week and someone had rented an AK-47. And, there's the table where you go and you shoot and you load your firearm, you aim at the target, pow, pow, pow. But this group of people was loading the AK-47 at the back table, and they had that AK-47 pointed towards the door where people come in. And I ended up seeing something about it. They got a real big attitude because they figured I wasn't the range safety officer. But imagine, this is the place that you go and people are not looking after you. They don't care what's going on. And this person with this AK-47 could have killed me. I was there with my family. If you watch my show at all, you see that, I like to go to the range with my family. And they could have been, shot. I don't think anyone would have done this on purpose, but people, this is not the place for mistakes. And they just, the people, I think they were there just to have fun. It was a group of them. And that wasn't the first time. I seen them also with a handgun. They loaded the handgun at the back table, and they were bringing the handgun to the range where you're going to start shooting like this, right? It was pointed at us, and we happened to be to the left of them, right? So you really want to look at the quality of the range safety officers when you're actually picking a range. And if you don't really give it much thought, you need to give it a little thought. You go into a range and maybe there's a range safety officer there and they're sitting on a chair and they're going through their phone and they're not really watching what everybody's doing. I get it if no one's in the range, but they're not watching what everybody's doing. That's a huge red flag. You probably don't want to shoot there. Again, not because you need somebody to stop you from hurting yourself, but you need someone to stop others from hurting you. And you might need somebody to help you save you from you. There was one time I was at a range. This range had really good range safety officers, and I was having a malfunction with my gun. And I didn't quite understand how to clear the malfunction. You put the pistol down, you call for the range safety officer, and a knowledgeable range safety officer can help you clear a lot of these malfunctions. Also, sometimes the range safety officer is not in there, but they're watching you from cameras, right? So you want to make sure that they're watching you, especially if they have like different sections of bays and things like that. They might not be able to have a person in each one of the bays, so a lot of times they'll watch you through cameras. Now, I prefer to have a range safety officer who's present in that bay. And of course, just real quick, I'm talking about inside, the range, right? Indoor ranges. Outdoor ranges are a little bit different. Most outdoor ranges have requirements before you can become members of those ranges and things like that. However, really think about that a lot when you are picking your next range to become a member, or if you just want to, bring some of your family or just yourself. Look at the quality of the range safety officers. Make sure they're following the golden rules. There's a lot of range safety rules out there, and actually there's not really that many, right? But I would like to hear from all of you guys out there. Have you went to a lot of ranges that don't really enforce any rules? Just kind of let everybody do whatever. Now, I have been to some places that will let you rapid fire, assuming that they're not packed or no one's in there teaching a class, and so you're making bad habits or things like that. I've been at places that will let you do some things like that. And another thing is you want to range safety officers who are going to actually check the type of ammunition that people are using. You might say, oh my God, this guy. But the reason for that is because they know what their backstop, the back of the range, is actually rated for. And if somebody comes in with the wrong ammo, they could really cause a lot of damage in the range. So again, I would love to hear what all of you guys think are very important things that you like to observe when choosing a range, whether you want to get a membership or a place that you like to frequent. Share in the comments. Even if you want to share some times where you went to a particular range and had an experience that you thought was unpleasant. This isn't really about bashing any range, so you can leave the name and the locations of the ranges out, but just so we all can learn together. What are some things that you look for? For me, again, it's the range safety officers. It's the ability to do FFL transfers at an affordable rate, because up here in northern Illinois, sometimes it's expensive. And by expensive, I mean it could be $100 or more to do an FFL transfer. So you already paid for your gun. Maybe it's $500, maybe it's $1,000 or more. And then you got to turn around and pay some FFL $100 or more to accept the pistol and make you wait 72 hours to get from them. So again, I'd love to hear what you guys think. What are your thoughts on this? Share in the comments, and please don't forget to like and subscribe.